Hey guys, Carl here, Cultivate with Carl, and it's March 19th. It's a Sunday. It is a beautiful day, sunny, about 48 degrees, 50 degrees right in there. And tonight we are expecting a hard freeze. And by hard freeze, I mean like 28 degrees. And so it's called the average last frost date for a reason. Our average last frost date was 1 March. And so that was the date at which we could expect our last frost. Well, Mother Nature has different plans, and here we are. It's the 19th, and we're expecting a hard freeze tonight. So that means we're going to have to do some preparations here in the garden. And what that may mean for us, it's going to be a busy afternoon. First, we're going to have to harvest what we can harvest. And it looks like some of these radishes are ready to go. Like, check this monster out right here. Look at that. Probably ready to go. So we'll go ahead and get these guys in the house. The other things that we're going to have to do is relocate. Some of these plants we're going to relocate inside. And that's going to be probably some of our potatoes in the bags. Because while potatoes are cold, they like the cold weather, they don't like a frost at all. So the greenery will die off and set you back pretty far on your potato development. So what we'll do with the potatoes, we'll put them on our little buggy, cart them to the back door, get them in the house. The lettuce here, we're going to cover with plastic. The tomatoes, we're going to cover up with probably a plastic tote. And the onions and stuff, we're going to harvest what we can, and we'll cover what we can with sheets, bed sheets, and plastic, and whatever we have. But I think, we'll have to just see what happens. Some of the plants we may lose. We may lose some of the string bean plants. They're not very cold tolerant. And we may lose some of the cucumbers and stuff. But we're still so early in the season that if we did lose something, I'll be honest with you, instead of going in and starting the plants over from seeds, I'd probably just go down to the nursery. The nurseries right now are stocked full of spring plants, and I just grab some spring plants from there and just press on. So here's a tip for you. Check out your local nurseries as opposed to the local big box stores. At the big box stores, I've seen a single tomato plant going for almost $6, whereas at the nursery, you can get a tray of 6 tomato plants for $6. So $1 a piece versus $6 for one. You decide on what's the better deal. So let's get to work. We're going to take a walk around real quick, see what we have, kind of like a before-after shot. So we'll take a tour of the garden real quick, just a flyby, and then we'll come back after I've done all the prep, and you'll see how we've changed things from the before and the after. All right, guys, here's your before lettuce shot. You can see the radishes are doing pretty good. Some of the lettuce is doing pretty good. Looks like we might have a little bug damage there. I'm betting that those are some sort of caterpillar. These are going to be problematic. These are potatoes. I have 2 different varieties of potato growing in there. That one's doing really good. This variety here is doing really well. We're going to have to cover this whole bed in plastic. That's going to be a for sure thing. The cucumbers and stuff are not doing well at all. And that's okay. Like I said, it's early in the season. These were sprouted inside, and it looks like I've got a combination of some bug damage, plus maybe it's a little too cool for them. That's a potato in the bucket right there, and that's a potato in the bag on the end. So we may have to do a redo on the old cucumbers. Along the fence here, we have some onions, some carrots. The carrots probably will just get covered. All these potato plants right here are coming inside. So we're going to load them up on the buggy. My neighbor has a new dog down there. These are potatoes in these 4 buckets here. I don't know that they've even sprouted. There's one sprout. And the potatoes at the end. So the rosemary here will probably get a bucket put on top of her. And these cabbages will probably get moved inside. The onion plant here, check this out. You see, my onions have budded and created flowers. Well, as it turns out that, your onions are on a 2-year life cycle. 1 year they will flower, the next year they'll make a big onion bulb. If they flower, they're not going to make the big onion. So I could just take those now and pull them out. chop them up and use them like green onions because they're not going to become a big bulb onion. But that was pretty cool, and you know, hopefully a little food for early pollinators. These guys here I will cover up just like we did last time. These are onions and carrots. And then my cabbage down here, the only Dutch cabbage to ever do anything, is kicking right along. It's not going to be very big, but that's okay. And then over here, the sweet potatoes are there. I will probably get some totes and just cover those up. And so there's only 2 or 3 popping up. All the rest of that's weeds. So, and I have to close my water bin back there so the mosquitoes don't get into it. But it was raining really hard this week, so I let it fill up. But if we come over here, I got these 2 tomato plants. Potato, you know. I got these 2 here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and I will cover them with a plastic tote. So these in the beds here are string beans. I'm going to take plastic solo cups for the ones that are small enough, and I'll take plastic bins for the ones that are big. I think that's a plan. And then here's potatoes. These all come inside. And here these are squash, and the squash are doing really well. They're going to get the old solo cup treatment. All right, so that's the plan. Ooh, look, my camera's dirty. That's the plan, and let's get cracking. Okay, guys, so necessity is the mother of invention. And what happened, I was sitting out here pondering my problem, and Matt, the next door neighbor, came across and was like, what you need is a greenhouse. Because I was not relishing the fact of moving in all of those plants. So what I did was I went to the shed and saw what I had, and this is the in progress picture of what I've come up with. Now this is in progress, it's not perfect yet, it'll be there. Let's check it out. Okay. Essentially, we're just gonna make a greenhouse out of all the beds. So in between each of the beds, I put the pots, as you can see right there. So in between each bed are all the potato plants, which is a better idea than bringing them inside. And then I'm gonna finish covering this up with plastic, and then we'll take a look at the finished greenhouse product. Okay guys, here we go. We're all covered up, everything's good to go. Like I said, you know, luckily I had the materials that I need. I didn't have to make a run to the big box store to get any more stuff. And you're gonna see some conventional, some kind of unconventional stuff going on here. For sure, the homemade greenhouse is a little off the cuff, but hey, I think it'll do. You know, we've got other plastics covering stuff, and you'll see here we use some things from around the house to cover up the plant. So let's get on this tour and look at the after the covering ingenuity that I've come up with. All right, guys, here we go. This is the big greenhouse. It contains all of the potatoes. And let me see, there's potatoes in there, there are squash in there, and we are sacrificing the cucumbers. Cucumbers, I probably transplanted them a little too early, and they were doing poorly, and so we're just going to go to the store and buy some cucumbers on that. But here it is. It is basically plastic held in place with clothespins and a lot of hope. Now, I don't like the fact that the wind is up under there, but I still think that it'll be okay. Somebody's jamming with some tunes. Squirrel Patrol's ever vigilant. All right, over here, for these bean plants were not very tall, so I put them underneath basically solo cups, which will act like little mini greenhouses. What I'm going to do before tonight is I will get some hay and I will cover those cups up. I'll stack the hay up around the cups to give it a little bit more insulation. Over here we have the cereal containers and the milk jugs. So the milk jugs I was going to use as like a little impromptu greenhouse for a project, but then I didn't. So they were just sitting around in a closet. All the cereal containers, when I used to have a lot of people in the house, we ate a lot of cereal and rice and stuff like that, so we would put them in these containers, which I really don't use as much anymore, so they make perfect impromptu greenhouses. Plus, some of them, like that first one you can see right there, that is my container that I put all of my stuff that's going into the compost. Now, these potatoes have not yet sprouted, so they are going to stay in the pots. But I'll be honest with you, they've only got another week or so before they, if they don't sprout, we're gonna dig around in there, find out what's going on to see if they're viable or not. We're going to cover the rosemary with that garbage bag. We're going to cover this cabbage with a garbage bag, as well as the onions. And we gotta see what's going on with these onions. The carrots and onions are getting a garbage bag. And then here on the end, the carrots have gotten plastic covers, even though I don't really know if they need it. And then what I'm going to do with the sweet potatoes over here is that I'm going to just cover them up with hay. And so that will be the plan. So quick spin around. As you can see over there, the lettuce beds. All right, here's the quick spin around. Here's the overview. The lettuce beds, oh, the tomatoes. The bigger tomato plants I just put under this plastic tub. Now, I am a little concerned that some of the leaves touching the plastic might have a bit of frost problem. But for the most part, I think the plants will be okay. So that's how we're gonna do it. It was just on the verge of being too small, but it worked out for this one. So, and over there, the lettuces have gotten a cover that I gotta put a few bricks on before I go inside. So there it is, here's the big pan. So let's hope this works. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll keep them warm enough. We are right off the beach, so it usually does not stay freezing very long. But we'll see what happens. Okay guys, there you have it. That's about all we're gonna do for this freeze. We're gonna put a few bricks on this bed right here, and we're gonna disconnect the irrigation system, and we're gonna pull the end caps off like I did last time. And that'll bleed the water out of the system before it freezes tonight. So in a couple days, we'll check back, see how everything survived. Hopefully everything will go well. I'm kind of worried about my potatoes, but I'll be honest with you, I did not want to haul, 15 pots of plants in my house. So when it gets dark, I'll come out here and cover up those things with the garbage bags, and then that's what we'll do. The squirrel patrol will be inside, all nice and snug. You don't have to worry about that. But a good thing about this cold frost or this cold blast right here, if I'm having problems, and it already looks like I was having problems with some bugs eating on the cucumbers and a couple of the other plants, a nice frost will knock them back a little bit. So hopefully we'll get a head start before summer on the bug fight, because I think this summer is going to be really warm. I think this is probably our last cold snap, and then from this point forward, we're going to do nothing but heat up, because by the end of the week, we're already back into the mid 70s and 60s for the low at night. So a lot of this stuff will take off. We'll talk about that later. So, okay, well, it's Carl, and I'm on my spring break from work. It's a wonderful thing, week off with pay. That's a great place. It's a great place to work. So what I'm gonna be doing is a lot of cleaning up this yard, a lot of garden stuff. I hope you get a spring break, and I hope you get a little time off, and I hope you have a lot of time to do hobby stuff and, work in the garden, do something that makes you happy, have fun and make the most of the time that you got, because you're not going to be here forever. Words of wisdom from Carl, Cultivate with Carl. We'll see you next time.